Hello and welcome back to the second installment of the series Through Grief and Beyond. You may remember the last video where I shared with you the story of Alex and losing him with a rare chromosome disorder. Today I'm going to share with you the story of Sam and Jor, who we sadly lost through miscarriage. So we now leap forward from April and that tragic day that we lost Alex to February 1996. A very short space of time, in fact just 10 months. And then just 10 weeks later we found that we were expecting another child. This was probably at the 8-week stage. And again we had expectations and hope that we were trying to have our first child. And yet still we hadn't got over the fact that we lost our first son. So you can imagine the fears of my heart. And just 4 weeks on, I was given the news that I really didn't want to hear. The news was devastating to me, and it was that we'd lost our baby to miscarriage. I just remembered the heartache and the pain of watching her need to go through yet another loss. In the same breath I was angry again. Angry at God and wondering where he was in all this. There seemed to be no sense in my reasoning, and if I'm honest, it drove me further away from him. Well, months went past and my faith was definitely on hold. I had no reason to worship a God who had let me down, or at least that was my reasoning. During those months I just felt emotionally drained and worthless. Still trying to process and make sense of it all, I tried to carry on through life, just going through the motions, not really happy with my situation. And then we jumped forward to 1997 September, nearly 18 months on from my last pregnancy. Again, I had positive news that we were expecting a child. I felt a sense of joy, but in the back of my mind there was still doubt that something could go wrong. I couldn't help but feel negative, and although deep down I should have been joyful. Then on a cruel day in October of that year, yet more bad news. We had lost our third child to miscarriage. The tears and the rage were back at my door. And yet there was so much love for Anita, who had gone through yet another traumatic time. I was beginning to doubt whether we'd be blessed with children. I wrestled with my emotions and feelings and avoided God, and just bumbled along through life. As always, when you go to supermarkets, there's always someone with a newborn child in the queue in front of you, the constant reminder that you're childless. There was always a sense of bitterness towards those sort of people, with their little bundles of love. I can't really put it into words how I was feeling at that time. I just didn't want to think about it too much, as I was becoming more and more dissatisfied with life. Statistics back then were that 1 in 3 pregnancies ended in miscarriage, and I got to thinking that this was getting a bit personal. These are natural reactions that you get if you're a follower of God, as you feel that one thing that should normally go smoothly doesn't. Of course this isn't the case. Looking back on reflection, it's now that I see that I needed something or someone to blame. I seem to remember paying a visit to my uncle up in Berwick upon Tweed. We were going to spend some time in the borders, and we were invited to a small church house in Berwick. During that time, in a meeting, a lady we'd never met before had a word of knowledge for us, and that word was that God was going to use us as a couple, and she wasn't sure in what area, just that God was going to use us. I'll come on to that in another video at a later time. Thank you so much for joining me today and for walking with me, and for allowing me to share some of my life with you. If you're new to this channel, please hit subscribe and make sure that you press that little bell button at the side as well to get more notifications. Take care and God bless. If you've had the misfortune of suffering miscarriage or stillbirth and you've had no one to talk to, then please feel free to contact me and I will try to help in any way I can. I'm not going to say I got all the answers, but I may be able to help you through experience.